Thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Bob Rogan, and I actually feel privileged to be here amongst so many fantastic people. I'm a recipient and I received a liver 6.5 years ago. My journey though only started just a few short weeks before the transplant. So I'm a little bit different to a lot of liver recipients. The emotional side of it though, so I haven't done this before, so if I do get a bit like that, please bear with me. The emotional side of it didn't really start until after the transplant and I was back in a ward reflecting on what had just occurred. This all started when I was out in the middle of Australia. I was on a job in the Simpson Desert when I suddenly took ill. Now, at the time, I just brushed it off. This was my very first symptom. Up till then, I was fit, as you can imagine, for my age anyway. And what had occurred was, my first symptom was one evening after dinner, and I just brushed it off as stress of the job I was on. Maybe I was dehydrated, whatever. So I just decided to soldier on. About 24 hours later, I realised things were a little different and I was probably in trouble now. So I made a beeline for home and the local doctor, which took me about 2 days. So by the time those 2 days had passed and I did see the doctor, it was obvious to both me and him and Marion over there, my wife, that I was now in serious strife. So it was off to Brisbane to the PA, in through emergency. The next 7 or so days, I don't recall. Little bits and pieces sometimes, but I'm not sure if they're accurate, my recollections anyway. What had actually occurred, we only found out later, was my liver had actually failed. I wasn't chronically ill for a long time, like a lot of people I know, but something had attacked it dramatically, and that was basically it. So at this stage, the doctors spoke to Marion and informed her that all they could do for me was to put me in ICU, make me comfortable, suggested to her that she, gather the family and that sort of thing. So while that was going on though, and in the interim, I know a lot of tests had been carried out and looked at again and again, trying to work out a cause. And to this day, they still haven't done that. So basically, it's still listed as unspecified. I was really fit. I was, a non-drinker, living the good life really, with our business. We both had an outdoors life, so I thought I'd be rosy for years to come. And this just was like a bolt of lightning out of the blue. So back to ICU. What occurred while I was there was I was placed on the transplant list, on the waiting list, and they then carried out that battery of tests they do to make sure I was suitable. Now, I must have gained some priority because of the situation, or maybe someone was just looking out for me, because 36 hours after going on the list, I'd been out of ICU, back in again, and this time I had a new liver. So 36 hours from being on the list to the transplant being completed, and then I was on the road to recovery. That took a long time because the liver failure caused toxins to build up really quickly and I became very sick. So it wasn't getting over the transplant, it was getting over all these other things that were going wrong. I was in hospital for over 3 months, away from home. Marion had thrown in her job, moved to Brisbane to be up there, and we thought the whole world has come crumbling down. But that's when the emotional side kicked in and I started to think about things. When I had moments of feeling really well, I would be really joyful that I had this second chance. And then immediately I'd feel guilty about that. And I'm sure we've all experienced that. So Well, what I started to think was maybe everything happens for a reason, and I honestly believe that. So I thought that maybe when I get out of the hospital, there's something I can do. So on our way home from Brisbane back to Tenterfield, we were talking about this, wondering what we can do. I was asking questions. Marion came up with an inspiring idea, and basically she said, look, don't worry about that. Just do what we do best, which is, in our business, we had owned and operated an outback tour company. She said, we'll just run those things, and where we can, we'll donate the proceeds to a cause that supports liver disease research or something along those lines. So we set about investigating the possibility. We approached the Australian Liver Foundation because it just seemed to me the first port of call. And we found out at that time they weren't actively fundraising themselves. So we went home, and not to be deterred, we formed our own non-profit organisation, which is called No Liver, No Life Incorporated, and we set about organising our first tour. It was well supported. We had another transplant recipient along for the ride. The liver coordinator from the PA hospital was along for the ride, and everyone had a great time. We shook the tin at every town we went through, and at the end we could present the foundation with a cheque for $35,000. Now, to this day, we'll continue to do whatever we can as long as I'm capable, in particular when it comes to raising awareness and the need to get people to sign that form. So I'm eternally grateful, and there's not a day goes by when I don't think about my and Marion's ordeal. Not a day goes by when I don't think about the donor family and their generosity that allows me to be up here talking to you. So all I can say is thank you, and I just want to know now that I will be here as long as I can doing what I can. Thank you very much.